This is David Goldman, Asia Times Deputy Editor, speaking to you from New York City the evening of June 29th. Well, another day in paradise. The stock market hovers around all-time highs. Bond yields hover around all-time lows. The Federal Reserve says that inflation is transitory and it won't do anything about it until all of us get a great deal older. Various sages of yesteryear, like Larry Summers, the former Treasury Secretary, John Taylor, the famous economist who served in high positions in Republican administrations, and others say the Federal Reserve is walking into a buzzsaw. This will be like the 1970s. And as you know, that's been my view here at Asia Times. But the market isn't doing anything. So is it quiet out there? Too quiet? How can we read the tea leaves to make sense of the market's reaction? Well, there are unknowns and there are unknowns in the immortal words of Donald Rumsfeld. There's fear and there's fear of fear. Have a look at the chart of the day. This shows what the popular press calls the fear index. That's VIX, or the implied volatility of options on the S&P 500. That's simply the normalized cost of hedging a position in the broad stock index with options, and that's hovering along in the blue line at an historic low, reflecting the fact that nothing is happening. That's the fear index, but on top of that, you have what you might call the fear of fear index. That's the orange line, and that's been rising over the years as the Federal Reserve has supported the stock market with massive quantitative easing and extremely low interest rates. It's been rising at an exponential rate. People have a right to be afraid. As we reported yesterday, corporations are buying houses for rental at an expected return of zero after the cost of interest and depreciation. Investors are buying junk bonds at yields below the expected loss rate. In other words, risk assets are effectively returning a zero rate of return, which is not too bad considering that anything safe yields you a negative rate of return after the cost of interest. So people will do this as long as the Federal Reserve keeps the punch bowl stocked with alcohol, but they won't do it forever. And what the fear of fear index, the volatility of volatility, is showing us is that people may not be running for hedges now, but when they do run for hedges, it will be a stampede. So the fear of fear index shows that the market really is very afraid, and you should be too. Be afraid, be very afraid. This is David Goldman, Asia Times Deputy Editor, speaking to you from New York City.